Hello, welcome back to my bookshelf tour. This being the Annex bookshelf tour. You can see the bookshelf just at the very end of the hall here. These are books that I sort of own in common with Jaja, and yeah, let's get into it. This is a single author bookshelf tour this time, and it is Chrstphr Mr, American humorist author of many funny stories. I have a theory that whatever Chrstphr Mr you start with is probably going to end up being your most favorite Chrstphr Mr. At least that's my theory so far. I go back, but the first Chrstphr Mr I read was this one, which is A Dirty Job, uh, where uh, where a fellow becomes, what does it say? Um, Charlie Asher is a pretty normal guy with a normal life, married to a bright and pretty woman who actually loves him for his normalcy. They're even about to have their first child. Yes, Charlie's doing okay, until people start dropping dead around him, and everywhere he goes, a dark presence whispers to him from under the streets. Charlie Asher, it seems, has been recruited for a new position as Death. It's a dirty job, but hey, somebody's got to do it. And so, uh, part of the reason why I think this is my favorite, I latched on this as mine, other than it was the first one, is that one of the people that dies is his wife, and so that a lot of this book is, it's a funny book, but it's also a book about mourning. It's a book about um, coming to terms with the death of a loved one, which is sounds heavy, but it's also done in a very body kind of inappropriate way. Chrstphr Mr is somebody who seems to come naturally to telling kind of serious stories in a silly way, in a way that just make you laugh out loud. Like a few authors that he's actually has made me laugh out loud a couple of times. And yeah, he did go back to this for a sequel just recently, which I read as a library book, which I didn't find as funny as this. I felt like maybe kind of gone back to the well on that a little bit too much. So, but I really enjoy this first one. Yeah, Dirty Job by Chrstphr Mr. From there, um, there's a couple of his kind of the earlier ones, which like Practical Demon Keeping, which I think all happen in Pine Cove, California. Which I think he's talked about these books as being the ones where he doesn't have any money to do research, so he kind of goes back to this area because it's somewhere that he kind of knows, and he can kind of write stories. And yeah, yeah, they're um, less this and less Lizards of Melancholy Cove are entertaining, less very bright bright colorful colors covers, less they stick less in my head than a Dirty Job. One that definitely sticks in my head is Fluke, or I Know Why the Winged Whale Sings, which is is a crazy book, and it's a book that swicks. I think it's most notable because it starts out as one type of book, and then halfway through the book, it turns into a different type of book. And I think it's maybe like for all his kind of wild man stuff, this is the book where it sort of he really slips the traces for a little bit there, and it changes genres, which it is a little bit of a mind bender in what's sort of kind of fun commercial fiction. Um, why do humpback whales sing? That's a question that has marine behavioralist biologist Nate Quinn and his crew poking, charting, recording, and photographing very big, wet, gray marine mammals, until the extraordinary day when a whale lifts its tail into the air to display a cryptic message spelled out in foot-high letters: "Bite me." Trouble is, Nate's beginning to wonder if he hasn't spent just a little too much time in the sun, because no one else on his team saw the thing, nor his longtime partner, Clay Demokos, nor their saucy young research assistant, not even the spiff puffing white boy, all the characters who have their funny names. But later, when a roll of film returns from the lab missing, the crucial tail shot and his research facility is trashed, Nate realizes that something very fishy indeed is going on. This also has probably the single most hilarious whale scene in it. Uh, you know, it surpasses that in the one way that it surpasses Moby Dick would be in the humorous whale scenes. Yes, other than that, I don't think Herman Melville has much to worry about. I can't even actually remember if I have read Coyote Blues. This is one of these ones that Jaja probably has, and I just don't think I've ever gotten around to. I probably should. Some early, young, ill-judged Chrstphr Moore is where to go. There is The Stupidest Angel. I know a lot of people's favorite is Lamb. I don't even know if we have Lamb. I couldn't find it when I was thinking. That's often considered one of his big books, which is sort of an, what if it's kind of a guy who was like kind of a pal of Jesus, and they were kind of wandering around getting into comic adventures. At least that's my vague impressions of it. Maybe just because of where I stand in religion, I'm pretty much an atheist. It didn't like land as hard for me as maybe it landed for other people, but I know that's one that people really enjoy. Speaking of enjoyment, here's a series that I really hate of his, which I've kind of slowly forgiven him for as I've stopped reading them. It starts off with Bloodsucking Fiends, which is a young couple gets turned into vampires, and it's supposedly Bloodsucking Fiends, a love story, but I really hated them. I hated them. I didn't care about them at all. I found them fairly just sociopathic. And there's their teenage familiar, Abby Normal, I think is her name. I hate because it sounds like Chrstphr Moore with a teenage girl sock puppet. I really hated her voice in this book, and I think you're supposed to really enjoy her and love her, and I hated her. Um, Unfortunately, this is the thing that he turned into a bit of a series. There's You Suck. I think I read You Suck, and then I most definitely stopped that series because I really disliked these books, which is funny for someone like that. But it's like everything clanged for me. I mean, anyone who doesn't like Chrstphr Moore, I know how you feel because I really dislike those books. I find them lazy and just kind of him kind of just rehearsing kind of performing his kind of like haha, dirty jokes for the crowd kind of thing. I really didn't like them. What I did like is his Shakespeare novels, which you might not think kind of bodily humor, hookers, and all that stuff that comes up in a lot of his other books, but I really enjoyed his Shakespeare books, which is a lot of him taking kind of Shakespeare. In this one, the Fool is the Fool from Lear, and kind of reimagining and putting it through a bit of a kind of a Chrstphr Moore um, lens. It's definitely like Shakespeare was playing to both sides of the audience. He's playing obviously high poetics, but he also had tons of body humor, tons of dick jokes in those plays. Chrstphr Moore definitely is far more on the body humor, on the dick jokes and all that, and while also having a bit of a soulful side. And I think he starts with Fool. There's the Serpent of Venice, and the latest one, which I've actually reviewed, but the title of completely gone out of my mind. All kind of following the Fool character throughout them. And I guess the people who enjoy the kind of the satirical vampire ones might be rolling their eyes at all the Shakespeare in these books, whereas I am someone who's uh, loves Shakespeare, does ShakeTube every year on BookTube on my other channel, and yeah, I just really enjoy these books, and I will avoid the vampire ones like the plague, and I will pick up and enjoy his Shakespeare ones, which I think have slowly gotten stronger actually as they've gone along. Because the latest one was Midsummer Night's Dream, kind of retelling, reimagining, and God, if I can remember the title, but I really enjoyed that one. I think that Midsummer Night's Dream and Chrstphr Moore go together well. That kind of lightness of tone was really amazing. So that is my tour of Chrstphr Moore on my bookshelf tour. More videos later.